Well, the United Nations has just been busted publishing an article about the benefits of world hunger. No joke. Now, when a journalist brought attention to that article, the UN immediately scrubbed it from the internet. And you won't believe the reason why they claim they published it in the first place. But before I get into the report, just a quick break. Well, now gas is at $7 a gallon, and a 10-year-old Honda Civic will set you back about $20,000, and monthly rent, that's about $2,000. Welcome to 8.6 inflation, and quite frankly, that does not seem to be getting better anytime soon, especially with Biden in charge. So what can you do? You can try trading stocks or mutual funds, but returns are sinking fast. You would have to make at least 10% with charges just to break even. And if you're looking at retiring in comfort, then there are not even options. That said, you might have heard about gold IRAs, but don't know much about them. That's why Noble Gold at noblegoldinvestments.com have a team of experts waiting for your phone call right now, and they can give you the expert advice on exactly what that is. They will put you straight on what you can and can't do to get yourself to financial safety again. And if you're quick, right now they are giving away with any qualifying order this 1/10 ounce American Eagle gold proof coin with every qualified IRA or 401k. All you have to do is go to noblegoldinvestments.com, or you can give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. On top of that, they also have an amazing YouTube channel. You can check them out at Noble Gold Investments there on YouTube. This YouTube has a new look, new presenters, and they've got brand new ideas and new problems to solve. In fact, this YouTube channel, you get really amazing information that you don't have to pay anything for. All the information on the channel is absolutely free. So check out their YouTube channel at Noble Gold Investments and give them a call today at 1-877-646-5347. Want more information? It's also in the description box below. All right, back to the broadcast. So let's dive into this United Nations article that was published by the UN Chronicle, the newspaper of the global leaders at the United Nations. We'll take a look at it here. And this I'm grabbing on archive. This is an archive file. We had to go to the Wayback Machine because, as I said earlier, they have since deleted it. But you'll see why after I read part of the article to you. But here it is. The benefits of world hunger, written by George Kent. But it goes on to state this: we sometimes talk about hunger in the world as if it were a scourge that all of us want to see abolished, viewing it as comparable with the plague or AIDS. But that naive view prevents us from coming to grips with what causes and sustains hunger. Hunger has great positive value to many people. Indeed, it is fundamental to the working of the world's economy. Hungry people are the most productive people, especially where there is a need for manual labor. We in developed countries sometimes see poor people by the roadside, holding up signs saying, "We'll work for food." Actually, most people work for food. It is mainly because people need food to survive that they work so hard, either in producing food for themselves in subsistence level production, or by selling their services to others in exchange for money. How many of us would sell our services if it were not for the threat of hunger? More importantly, how many of us would sell our services so cheaply if it were not for the threat of hunger? When we sell our services cheaply, we enrich others, those who own the factories, the machines, and the lands, and ultimately own the people who work for them. For those who depend on the availability of cheap labor, hunger is the foundation of their wealth. It goes on. Much of the hunger literature talks about how it is important to assure that people are well fed so that they can be more productive. That's nonsense. No one works harder than hungry people. Yes, people who are well nourished have greater capacity for productive physical activity, but well nourished people are far less willing to do that work. For those of us at the high end of the social ladder, ending hunger globally would be a disaster. If there were no hunger in the world, who would plow the fields? Who would harvest the vegetables? Who would work in the rendering plants? Who would clean our toilets? Who would have to produce our own food and clean our own toilets? No wonder people at the high end are not rushing to solve the hunger problem. For many of us, hunger is not a problem, but an asset. I don't know about you, but that's some pretty horrendous stuff. No wonder they scrubbed it off the internet after an InfoWars reporter brought attention to it. Take a look. And here's the reporter that brought attention to it, Jamie White. The UN Nations deleted its 14-year-old article called The Benefits of World Hunger moments after I published an article about it. Thankfully, we found the archived version, which is the version that I just shared with you. And you can see right here that it has since been scrubbed from the internet. Nothing is now available. It has now been scrubbed. And you can see the article that was published here by Jamie White. What on earth were they trying to hide? And you won't believe their response to why they deleted the article. And I'm going to share that with you in just a moment. But before I do, I just want to comment on some of the atrocious things that were in the article. First and foremost, they talk about world hunger and say it's a benefit for society, and even go as far as to say people who are full in their bellies and are happy and content because they have food, that yeah, they work and they still do things for a living, but a hungry person is more motivated to do that work because they've got something to lose. I mean, what? We already know the organization at the UN is full of a bunch of power-hungry dictators who want to tell you and I what to do, by the way, and who want control of the masses. And this article is just crap. It's sick. It's really, really sick. Really, really sick. And then they go on to say how people will be driven to do the worst of the worst jobs because they're so hungry. And worse yet, they'll pay them crappy so they stay hungry and continue to do those jobs. You want to know what the response by the United Nations was for publishing that article? Well, take a look, because it was called out by Steve Milloy, and I'm probably mispronouncing his last name, but here he writes, while the UN pushes the world to invest trillions in hopelessly dishonest bid to change the weather, 7,500 children die every day from hunger per UNICEF. The notion that world hunger is some capitalist plot is idiotic. And then he goes on to reference the article that I just shared with you that has now been removed off the internet, and the UN Chronicle responds. And here's what they say. This article appeared in the UN Chronicle 14 years ago as an attempt at satire and was never meant to be taken literally. We have been made aware of its failures even as a satire, and we have removed it from our site. If that's satire, I mean, really? That is not exactly how you would write a satire article. I've read plenty of satire articles, and they're really shooting the long one on that one. And here's the other thing. I know of no other article ever. Maybe I'm wrong. I have no idea. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% on this. But I have never read any satire by the UN Chronicle. None. Zero. I haven't. I don't know about you, but I haven't. Please comment on that. But either way, they're going to call that satire? That doesn't sound satire at all. No wonder they deleted it off the internet. These people, it's almost as if they want us to go hungry. Speaking of that, Speaking of hungry, see this little article here. Update. Explosion. This is Gateway Pundit. Explosion at the Georgia Guidestones. Caught on video. Monument to the devil. Later completely demolished after explosion. Now, the good news is no one was hurt because that would have been awful, right? However, I really don't care if the darn beepity beepity beep thing got blown up. It touted the globalist order of we only want 500 million people on the planet to save the globe. When there's billion of us living, it touted basically a complete destruction, if you will, of mankind, leaving a handful of people. Now it's blown up. Oh well. I think people have had enough. They've had enough of the crap that they're pushing at the World Economic Forum where you will own nothing and be happy. They're sick and tired of the crap at the United Nations, like publishing a satire article about the benefits of world hunger. This is what we have. No wonder they don't want us to have a say in policies like the new Green Deal, Agenda 2030, and the like. You know what else is a very disturbing report? I'm going to bring this up. This is another disturbing report brought to you by our global leaders. And here it is. Reset the table. Meeting the moment to transform the UN food system. It kind of sounds a lot like what Biden is doing right now. He's destroyed gas prices. He's destroyed our food system and implemented all these things that go against everything but saving the economy. Right? He's doing everything to destroy, and he's being done on purpose. This is just maybe where he's headed, right? This was published by the Rockefeller Foundation, by the way. And I'm going to summarize this for those of you who may not know, but it was published in 2020, and this report, published by the Rockefeller Foundation, outlines their plan to transform our entire food system. That's exactly what it's about. And it argues, right? It argues that our food system must be seized, taken, and transformed to advance social justice and environmentalism. Wow. You mean like forcing us to eat plants and bugs instead of meat and genetically modified food? Right. It calls for multiple changes to policies, to norms, to practices, the whole 9 yards, including collecting data on you and your habits and how you eat. Welcome to the Great Reset, my friends. Anyhow, this is a very important report. I encourage you to please share it with everyone you know. And I'm going to also include the archive file in the description box below, so check it out there. Anyhow, thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.